Aries, Ashe. Obatula, Ashe. Nila Hotep, Ashe. Anu, Ashe. Ptah, Ashe. Apollo, Ashe. Da, Ashe. Zaka, Ashe. Shango, Ashe. Makali, Ashe.
Like I said, we're dedicating this lecture to Scott Joplin because he's basically the first father of jazz that started with ragtime, something that's literally forgotten in history. And as a result, when they discovered this particular thing based on the 10-year-old boy that introduced his father to it in 1972 or 71, and as a result, they used this for a soundtrack to make the movie The Sting, and it went on to win all these Academy Awards. The point I'm trying to make is that this particular man spoke from the grave. Man spoke from the grave, and as a result, they even put a plaque on his grave, as well as Billy D. Williams, as you know, and what's the other guy that the other guy that used to play on That's My Mama? What's that cat name? Played on Amen too.
Clifton Davis.
Clifton Davis. Billy D. Williams and Clifton Davis later on starred in the actual movie, the Scott Joplin story. The Scott Joplin story. So that's the. So we dedicate this to Scott Joplin at this particular time. You know, another forgotten person. But and it's not just. I mean, it's thousands of people. But I just go what the Spirit just told me to do that. So I just say, well, cool, I'll do it. You know. Because I went and got the album the other day, and you know, and got the album the other day, and so the Spirit said, you know, to dedicate that, and I'm quite sure that's His Spirit saying, you know, I want you to do this also too, and so we do that at this particular time. So to learn more about it, his life, you can just go and rent the movie with Billy D. Williams, I think 1976, the Scott Joplin story, I think the name of it is. So as we say. We're here in 1999, and Lord knows I started out 7 years ago. I didn't even, well, when I first started out lecturing, but then when it got more spiritual, I was hoping that we wouldn't even be here in 1999. But then again, on the other hand, we understand that things take a gradual build-up. I was trying to get out here in 94, but as I realize now, that based on the type of information or the type of knowledge I have gained, has been leaps and bounds, even in my own growing, compared to what I knew 4 years ago, compared to what I knew 3 years ago. So, in actuality, everything is still right on time. Right on time. And like I said, we're going to deal with this particular part because it's just as much prophecies of 1999 as it is the year 2000. And that's because we're still in the actual season, in which we're going to start off with today, dealing with that actual thing. To let you know, we're going to start off with the hard copy in dealing with this particular aspect of the actual Bill Clinton shutdown and the whole 9 yards. You know, with the whole impeachment, and try to understand, because there's the old prophecy that you'll know the end. You'll know the end when there's infighting among the elite. So on the other hand. There's something else that's going on all across the country, which has something to do with the whole Scott Joplin thing and all this too. As we know that jazz has its origin in all types of a spiritual thing as a form of Vodun. You see what I'm saying? Which is, you know, as the people don't know, we're talking about voodoo. Just as Christianity has its roots in gospel, the alternative, the other side, the darker side of what you call the truth side, has its origin in jazz, which leads us to this. All across the country, they now have what is called smooth jazz stations. Smooth jazz. This is all across the damn country. Now, this is for a reason. This smooth jazz is because they understood that if they were going to go into the 1990s, that traditional music as jazz, classical rock and roll, which was black, as you know, which basically the classical rock and roll, especially the ones from the 70s, got its start from Jimi Hendrix. But then you have, but then again you would go, and then you would have your earlier rock and roll, which would be your doo-wop and your whole thing, Little Richard, and you know all that. But anyway, the type of rock and roll that the modern white boy was playing was a carbon copy, or in actuality, was their spin-off of, in actuality, Jimi Hendrix. But Jimi Hendrix played a new type of blues. And after he died, the white boy just started it and all, it just got wild with it. You see what I'm saying? The key is, even that, they had to stop this new type of, any type of rock and roll. They had to stop this too. So we know that the R&B, they had to stop that. But even the rock and roll, most of these new players now, singers now, are playing a form of country. This new jewel, you see, it's all this folk shit. You see, and all this it's a borderline bluegrass and country. It's cleverly done, but the key is they had to stop any type of remnants of the black element going into the 90s. So we know all about the R&B, they had to cut that down. So they used the rap to cut that out. But now this is not the same sophisticated rap that came out in the late 80s, early 90s. Rap has started coming into its own. So overnight they have literally re-wove this thing until now you got the masterpiece shit. This is different than the rap from the early 90s and the underground groups. You see what I'm saying? Like Diggable Planets, De La Soul, you see what I'm saying? And other types of groups and underground groups and stuff. This is a whole nother type of rap. You see what I'm saying? That's devoid of spiritual things, or devoid of the soul in it. So on the other hand, we go back to jazz, which has its root in an experimental Vaudin energy. And for some of the people that's not clear on what I'm talking about, you can get some of my previous tapes to deal with this. But the key is, they understand that in order to keep a people down, they have to change the music that they listen to. So as a result, real classical jazz or even new experimental jazz, they cannot have. So basically Kenny G becomes the model. And now they're even calling this cracker the father of jazz. Fucking Kenny G. You see what I'm saying?
Copycat.
You see, well, they're not even copycat. We're not even talking about copycat. We're talking about something that's totally different than mainstream jazz. We're talking about a soft, instrumental R&B that basically is a new model. You see what I'm saying? It's even different than earlier Grover Washington, although he sold out. You see what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, even when we talk about the jazz of the 70s with Herbie Hancock, Grover Washington, even the damn Crusaders, you see what I'm saying? We're talking about a whole nother type of thing, and it's all called this soft jazz. You see what I'm saying? It's damn near glorified elevator music. You see? So it's not even the big band. It's nothing to do with historical jazz whatsoever. And so most young people say, yeah, I like jazz, and I listen to jazz. That's not jazz. You see what I'm saying? So all across the country, and this is very important, because the reason why it's very important, because as we have right here, here's your manual, your mind control book, which they have now a brand new, I just saw a brand new thing about 3 times as thick as this, a 1990 version of mind control. It's a new book out, and I will get the information to you, as well as I just remind people to either go on the internet and try to download all the stuff you can find on mind control. Because we're going to have to deal with this also tonight too. Because what you got here is, you got a country where everybody in the country is crazy. And I'm not saying it's like a figure of speech. You know, we use words so much until it becomes a figure of speech and it loses meaning. I'm telling you, literally, everybody in the country is unhealthy. Based on thought. And in order to make us unhealthy, they have to keep white people unhealthy. You see what I'm saying? So even though white people might behave better than us, yeah, we can say this now. White people now are behaving better than black people. Now, I'm just not being funny with this damn mess. Niggas are out of their fucking mind. But my point is, although they're doing that, everybody's a little insane. This country is crazy, sick. You see what I'm saying? And this was the whole impeachment thing. We're going to have to go into all this tonight because mind control is at the helm of it. And everything is everything. And we're trying to get to the point why, as this is the focus now to keep everybody unhealthy, because if anybody there thinks clear in a collective consciousness, this shit can be over tomorrow. So mind control has to be a greater trick. You see what I'm saying? And they can't just lock down everybody, because when you oppress people start thinking on a higher level. So the key is to kill off a lot of the motherfuckers that you can't conform, and then or reform or whatever, are the ones that don't conform, and then the rest of the people you keep them at a zombie state. On the other hand, the music is key to that too. Although they got bad music in the from all aspects of R&B, the thing is all across the country. They got it here, soft jazz. In Atlanta, soft jazz. All over the country is soft jazz. And that's the key, because in the particular mind control book it says, in order for the pituitary gland to work, pituitary gland regulates the flow of melanin from the pineal gland. Although the pineal gland produces it, the pituitary gland is the one that regulates the flow throughout the body, which is this particular system, this particular paper that I've handed out. If the people don't get it, don't just remind me. That people who didn't get one, just remind me, and I'll give you one before you leave. But this is a great function, great graph to show you the function of melanin throughout the body. Now the key is, based on this book, Mind Control in America by Steve Jacobson. Steve Jacobson, Mind Control in the United States. Based on this particular book, it says that the main thing to control the people is the pituitary gland produces the melanin hormones, or he just said the hormones to the particular body, but also it can be changed or modified based on the music. So if you have low bass lines and no highs, then it doesn't secrete. If you have all highs and no low bass line, it doesn't secrete. So black people had a certain music that came from ragtime, gospel, blues, jazz, the funk, modern day rock and roll, early rock and roll, that always had lows. Well, he said black people have a heavy bass line, but black people always had a high too.
Always had a tenor.
They always had a balance. Whereas the rock and roll, they had highs, but they didn't have no low bass line, so there was not a balance. You see what I'm saying? The case in point, Isley Brothers played rock and roll, but their shit was a balance, so therefore it was the same as soul. You see what I'm saying? My point is, the black music always had highs as well as lows, including in the 80s when they had to synthesize the highs, they had to synthesize the bass. So basically the new black music that the youngsters are listening to is basically low bass line and hardly no music. Just a boom, tick, and hardly no music. And no highs. No highs. You understand what I'm saying? So all of this particular stuff is modified and arranged to shut down the pituitary gland, and the music companies know all about it, but the music companies is the one that was in on this type of shit. So the key here is, and so the white people who used to have a little bit of blues and rock and roll type things and was dealing with some stuff, their shit is now country and bluegrass. You see what I'm saying? So this is very key that you understand this. So this, based on the smooth jazz, you thinking it's jazz and it's catchy and it follows a tune, it's really nothing.
That's right, empty.
It's empty. It doesn't fill in the gaps. See, that's the key with black people. With jazz was able to, you got spaces in between the music, and the black people was able to go in and put a damn note in between the fucking spaces. This shit is just straight and plain.
And the soul rejects it.
And the soul rejects it, as well as the rap. It's not. First of all, rap was supposed to be a side item. which means it was cool when it was first coined out of the inner city. But it was supposed to be like if you go to a restaurant, you have your main course and then you have your dessert. But if you go to a restaurant and they start serving you a strawberry shortcake in the beginning, you understand, that throws off shit. So now rap is the mainstream music, and it never was supposed to be the mainstream music. You see what I'm saying? And it is very controlled. So the original rap, they have cleverly done this thing. It was always supposed to be a side album, but you was always supposed to have your basic R&B. That's gone now. These little girl groups and shit they got now, it's really nothing. And a whole lot of moaning and a whole lot of this fucked up shit, and nobody really has any talent. So this is very key because it also shuts down the flow of melanin, because the key is that they cannot have anybody that has any type of genius thought pattern that can raise up overnight. And one spark leads to all sparks. So the entire country has to be on a mind control lockdown, and that's what we're dealing with here. You see what I'm saying? That's what we're dealing with here. A mind control lockdown. Now, let's deal with some things on the hard copy things so you can understand something. First of all, when I went to New York, people wanted to know about the Y2K shit. Everybody's scared about the Y2K. The Y2K. And I told them, look, fuck the Y2K. You shouldn't even be concerned with that bullshit. Oh, no, Bobby, you wrong. Oh, no, you crazy now. So C. Freeman L. broke it. He said, nah, that ain't some shit. This is something to sell some new computers. You know damn well that this man, I knew about this thing in '96. You know damn well if a fucking digital clock go past 1999, you know damn well a computer can too. But the key is they designed it because the key is the cell. You see what I'm saying?
Update on Windows.
Everything, the computer is obsolete when it hits the market.
Sure is.
How many times they done upgraded the computer since 1990?
That's right.
Since 93?
That's right. Windows 95.
Since 96?
Right.
Window this, window that. Every year it's a damn window. They got to sell. It's a company. So the new thing is the Y2K shit. You see, so they say we're going to take the Y2K models and we're going to sell them, but we're going to put this hysteria out here and make everybody go crazy like the country going to shut down. Now the key here is, number one is the brother named Minister Rod in Atlanta said, well, hell, you know the best place to be if all this shit does go down is America. People are, man, you crazy. I'm getting my passport. I'm going to Africa. Now, we can't survive 2 damn days in fucking Africa. Africa is through. First of all, there's 75,000 Africans dying a month with AIDS. You see what I'm saying? My point is, we can't even live with our damn selves. How the hell are we going to live in Africa? You know what I'm saying? The key is, now why did he say that the best place to be, oh, they got mad at the nigga for saying that. Why did he say the best place to be was America? Because if the damn head of the evil empire is here, the best place to be is close to the evil empire.
That's the last place they're going to buy.
That's the last, they ain't going to tear their damn self up to get your ass and you were part of the evil empire. You see what I'm saying? That's the infiltration thing. You see what I'm saying? But the key is we don't understand spiritual things. There's a reason why we're in America in the first place.
Tell it.
There's a reason for everything. But our hysteria, so the key is everybody is now, and I looked at this thing and I said, how could this white man come and invent this Y2K thing, and all of a sudden, people just lose their mind.
That's right.
Niggas is shutting down shop. One sister had a conscious place. She went the fuck out of business because of the Y2K thing. And sure enough, C. Freeman L. say they're going to wait till the last minute and they're going to sell this new computer and everybody going to buy it because they scared. And I said, you know you're right. And sure enough, he said that this summer. And I said, you know you're right. I said, I knew it was some fake stuff from the get-go, but you put that finger on it. And sure enough, my girl works at the Atlanta Journal and Constitution newspaper, and they already Y2K. They 2 weeks ago, they went Y2K compatible. They've already come in and fixed all the damn computers for the Y2K thing. So, Atlanta Journal and Constitution, these were some of the first crackers to break down and buy the new computers. And right on the Super Bowl, they said, Y2K is coming, but the Apple computer is already Y2K prone or whatever. That means mean that they're selling this shit and motherfuckers got to buy it? It's a great old payday for the cracker to get paid. And how do you do that? You tell a motherfucker they need it. You see, but we always look at something, and the thing that get me, which is so sad, we got all of this spiritual stuff coming now. Before we couldn't get nothing but the Bible and some old black ass nigga hollering at us. And now we got all this spiritual shit going down. We got all this spiritual stuff going down, and all of a sudden, somebody talking about Y2K, and we abandon all our stuff. We supposed to be learning how to be gods. And we say, fuck that. We gonna get some beans, and we gonna get some rice, and we gonna stockpile. That's another thing too. Now, first of all, we gotta look at this. And he said it, Brother Bassisa said it, and I said it in the lecture in Indianapolis 2 weeks ago. I said, now wait a minute, now we talking about all this damn stockpiling, getting the rice, getting the beans, getting the water. Now I said, first of all you gotta go do is see one of them little futuristic movies, as when the damn government break down. And the first thing you see is motherfuckers fighting for water,
That's right.
fighting for whoever got some shit left. They're breaking in your shit. Now niggas is breaking in your shit to steal stuff that they don't need. You know damn well when the Y2K shit break down, if that was supposed to be the case, like you gon' motherfucker, I got rice and I'm safe. The motherfucker got rice gonna be fucked up. You see what I'm saying? Because I might come and knock a nigga over the head for some damn rice or some milk or whatever. Number two, another thing is we gonna have to all get together and we gonna live on this land. Now come on now, we can't live damn cross town from a damn nigga. You think I'm gonna live in the same room with a bunch of damn niggas? Are you crazy?
A bunch of crazy ones in there.
You see what I'm saying? But it's crazy shit. Now, there's a book called Kundalini for a New Age. And in this particular book, Kundalini for a New Age, the guy said, I can't think of who the guy who wrote the book, but it's called Kundalini for a New Age, and it still should be in print. And the guy said that the actual Indian government got some money, but they're a very poor country, but they got some money to study the Kundalini, you know, in a scientific manner, and they studied it till they ran out of money, because they were a real poor country. But what they had concluded, based on the yogis and based on the other people and based on certain things in Sanskrit that was written down, and it said that there are devices in the body that will come online when the body suspects it is going to be annihilated. So the white boy has to sneak up and kill us while we dead. You know, he sneak up from behind and take your ass in the night. But never announces the day, you understand what I'm saying, of himself coming. You understand what I'm saying? He's treacherous. He does not announce the day that he makes war. He always does things in a conspiratorial view because he understands the day he announced that we are in martial law and all that type of shit, that these devices will come on in the body and get his ass off the planet earlier than when he's thinking on going anyway, although he's going soon anyway. You understand what I'm saying? So he understands, based on mind control, that he's always got to keep you in a perpetual state of thinking that he's coming to lock your ass down, which he never does. Because he's trying to extend time. You see? So he's not going to do anything to fuck up some shit and give him the early ass whipping. But if he can keep you thinking that, then he can, there you go again. Because you will be wanting this shit not to happen till you will pray for the year 2000 to come. And then the year 2000 comes, for the simple damn fact it's up to you whether we get out of this shit in the first place.
Right.
It's all a part of the mind control. See what I'm saying? And so that's the key. The next thing he can come up with as a conspiratorial thing of saying you need to do this, we got the gun shows and we got all this kind of shit, you'll spend all this damn money, and yet it'll be business as usual. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He is not going to try to end the civilization when he's working around the clock to keep the motherfucker going. Get where I'm coming from here? Which is the basis of this particular thing that's going down with the whole Clinton thing, which we'll get into in a few minutes. But I want to document a couple of things right now. One thing is this, is that this is the new thing all around the country, is they're going to end parole. They're going to end parole all over the country. I had the honor to be with a brother that works in the prison systems in Newark. No, excuse me, in New Jersey, but that's in Trenton. In Trenton. And he said that basically we know that the prisons are all privatized now. Now the key is on this.
Big business.
It's big business. Now, I went ahead and did some other research and some psychic research to put this thing all together, which we need to document on the tapes too. Number one, the first thing is, and to show you what happened, they had this election in November. And the election in Georgia in November was to be run based on this. Now, I just got back from Milwaukee about a month ago, and the same thing went down in Milwaukee. They say the end in parole. Now, in this particular election, they had this black guy saying, if I'm elected again, I will end parole. Well, naturally, they get a black person because most of the black people in prison. So the first thing you say, man, these crackers trying to lock niggas up forever. So psychologically, to get the black person, throw you all off guard. But we know this is one of the damn government clones. So this lieutenant, whatever, lieutenant, some old motherfucking job, you know, he got, saying that if I get reelected, I'm going to end parole. So to make sure that they drive this thing home, a week before the election, this guy goes into the Hilton Hotel in Atlanta, or the Hyatt, one of them, and kills 4 white tourists and 1 black guy. This guy does it so professional, the cameras don't even see him, nobody see him, and gets out and is straight up a professional hit to get the job done. 3 days before Tuesday, let's see, I think it was a Tuesday, 3 days before the election, they catch a black man in Tennessee driving around with all the stolen shit from the hotel room and all the other people's wallets in the fucking trunk of the car. When they stop him for a so-called quote-unquote a routine checkup, he said, I think I got a gun in here.
Oh, shit.
How the shit is this? Now that's not even a criminal. That's not even the average white housewife will say some bullshit like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think I got it. You might say, I think, you might get, I think I was riding without my seatbelt. But I think I got a gun up in the car. They searched to come and find all this people shit. Now the key is, obviously the nigga who did the stuff was not the nigga who did the professional hit. But whoever they planted it on, this clone, you see what I'm saying? The key is, it's 3 days before election, they caught this damn black man and white people going, wait a minute, fuck this shit. These niggas are getting out of hand. But see now, so when they go into the voting booth on Tuesday, and they vote for, they vote for where they're going to cut out, to re-elect this man and say, I will end parole, they saying that's the solution. So they do a crime or they set the situation up, and it's always an extreme situation to give you an extreme reaction. So as a result, you see what I'm saying, the masses of the white people and all the stupid Negroes go and vote for this shit, don't even know that the crackers, hell, that means parole for everybody ass. And so now, basically in so many words, because they re-elected the man, now they're going to end parole in Georgia. Now, the key is this. In most of the 90s and the late 80s, they were saying that all of the doggone jobs was going to Mexico. But yet, if all the factory jobs that closed down, and majority there's no industry in America left, because all of it's supposed to go to Mexico, well, why is it, if all the damn factories is in Mexico, why all the goddamn Mexicans running across the border with no shoes on to come get a job in a damn factory that's in fucking Mexico? If all the damn companies in Mexico, why they get thousands of these motherfuckers, 37,000 in a damn trunk overnight going across the border? See what I'm saying? 3 million in a fucking damn suitcase.
Trying to get here.
Trying to get here.
Get a job.
To get a damn job that's in the place that they left.
Yeah, supposed to be.
The mystery is, only thing they got to do is make up an excuse because they know you ain't going to challenge shit. Plus, the mentality is wherever Ted Koppel, Peter Jennings, Tom Brokaw, or whatever them say, is Dan Rather, is gospel. It's reality. it's not reality until you prove it, until they decide to come on and tell you it's not reality.
Right.
As long as they say it's reality, it's reality.
Sure.
That's mind control in America.
Sure.
You got a whole bunch of people in
You see,
there.
and that's the mentality. The reason why, even with the conscious shit right now, the reason why we couldn't even break through our own people, because our people saying, and I've literally heard people say, why haven't I heard that on the news?
Sure.
I said, they killing motherfuckers in the project. They're taking people out of the project. Well, why haven't I heard that on the news? What kind of shit is this?
Or in the daily news.
But they literally think that the news is God.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why there's more news programs in the 90s, you see what I'm saying, than it ever was. You know, in the 70s you had a 6 o'clock news, then you had your 6:30 your 6:30 national news, and you had 11 o'clock news, and that was it.
Yeah.
Now you got news in the morning, news at 12,
Every hour on hour.
every hour on the hour, news breaks.
2 o'clock in the morning.
You see what I'm saying? You got it 24 hours around with C-SPAN and CNN. Then not only that, then you got news programs. You got 2020.
Yeah.
Hell, 60 Minutes had to start coming on twice.
Right.
You got Dateline. You got 48 hours.
MSNT.
Like prime time.
Prime time, then you got this shit at 3 o'clock at night. They got another shit come on. So basically, it's all a form of mind control.
Right.
To keep you thinking a certain way, because that is God. So, they come in and they say, look, we go in parole. Now, the key is this. About 10,000 damn companies that closed down, supposed to went to Japan and all that stuff. The key is they open up one big ghost company. So let's say I'm the Jensen Corporation, and I make handbags, or I make guitar strings or whatever. All that shit make money. We laugh at it, but motherfucker making toilet seats, getting paid. You cleaning toilet, motherfucker making toilet seats. You see, I'll make a better place to shit or a better mouse trap. We couldn't get that concept together. But anyway, they say, look, my toilet seat company, I'm paying motherfuckers $10 an hour. Now, for order for me to survive, I got to go underground. So what they do is they make like they close down, they relinquish their name on top of the ground, and they go into prisons under one company. So you got Unico is this prison company. And Unico is nothing but a ghost company with 10,000 other companies up under it that used to be on top of the ground that has not gotten rid of their name and going up under the prison. Meanwhile, they got to end parole for this reason. The industry is in prison. Number two, if I train a nigga to work in my doggone corporation, you understand what I'm saying? And he got a damn 5 years, and I can't have him getting out in a year. He gonna do all 5 years for my company at $75 a damn week. No, excuse me, $75 a year.
Check.
Oh no, excuse me, 75 cents a fucking damn month, or however that shit is.
They making them pay room and board now.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you take them.
And you gotta pay to go to the doctor in some of these places.
That's right.
But let's say 75 cents a day. So you used to make $10, now you making 75 cents a day. Probably working for the same damn corporation that you used to work before you went to prison. You said, I remember doing this shit outside. I can do this. You didn't know, man, it's the same boss man. You might fuck up one day and meet him up in there. The key is that they have this stuff up under the ground, or what you call underground. And so if I got a person for 25 years, just think about it. I got a man for 25 years and there's no parole. I got 25 years of a slave's ass for 75 cents a damn day. You see what I'm saying? And this is free labor, and this is slavery all over again. You see. Then they got Eddie Murphy in them.
Yeah, PJ.
Not the PJ. He got a new movie, him and Martin Lawrence. Got a movie coming out on life. These motherfuckers get life in prison. And they say that this is hard labor. It's supposed to be 1930s chain gang. And it was hard labor and life was tough in this prison in Georgia chain gang in 1930s until Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence come and they somewhat make life easier telling jokes and acting like a fool in prison. And they got these motherfuckers up in there, they come in, they get life when they're like 20, and then they show them they're still up in the motherfucker at like 90, with old and shit, been in there about 90-something years.
Still making jokes.
Still making jokes and stuff. And they're making prison life for all the people that have died under prison, they're making this shit funny. We ain't even talking about the PJ shit. This new thing and all. But then again, they can give that to people because they understand now it's all a form of mind control. The only reason why they put it on is because they're still trying to test whether a person is a zombie or not. And because they got such a divorce from the so-called upward mobile people than the downtrodden, because the downtrodden is basically gone. So the upward mobile people are what is an upward mobile is any motherfucker got a job. Whatever the deal is. If you got 2 McDonald's jobs, you still upward mobile. So the person that's basically poor is actually an extinct race that doesn't exist anymore, so we can make all the jokes we want about their ass.
That's right.
Well, March 3rd, they're going to end it in Pennsylvania.
What?
Welfare.
Welfare. Now, that's the key. First of all, they've ended it in Pennsylvania because they ain't got no motherfuckers living to be on welfare. You understand that? You see, they can end the shit because they done got rid of all the people. So when they do end it, they ain't got pandemonium because ain't nobody left on the shit no way.
That's right.
Because they done kill every damn body. Now going back to this particular thing, we got prison and we got slavery all over again. And basically, no one knows what the hell is going on. You see what I'm saying? All a part of the actual mind control. Now, this particular list I gave you with the serotonin and melatonin is telling you one thing. First of all, as if anybody got the actual Nexus magazines for the last 3 months, and they had the white powder gold and the white powder gold of ancient summer in Egypt. When you get that particular article, they will tell you in the first article, and if you don't have the Nexus magazine, it's still on the internet, so just ask somebody to download it for you and give you the articles. In there, they tell you that the pineal gland is as big as a kernel of corn, or a grain of corn. So therefore, if that particular thing that is as big as a grain of corn is responsible, as you see on this list, for all that many glands in the body, can you give me the list? For all that many, I got one. For all that many glands in the body, then that means that it doesn't take much to damage this thing. So what's happening is this, and you're not really in trouble. First of all, this is why the hair companies in the late 1980s, 1970s say that we got to perfect the perm. They can, melanin and these particular, you can't destroy these particular glands because they're self-regenerative glands. They can regenerate themselves in a matter of days. It's about like your penis, you know what I'm saying? You know, or your vagina, you know, you get down real hard one time, you might be sore. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. But by the day, that motherfucker is like super thing, it's all good again. And you just wish your hand could do the same damn thing, and you got a cut on that motherfucker, or one of them little cat paws on your end of your thing that hurt like shit. And you holding your thumb like this, but you go down there to the genital area and shit, that shit might have a night of damage and shit, but about a day after that motherfucker, it's all good again. That's because it's the type of tissue is the same type of tissue that's on the inside of the body. Especially when it comes to black people with the melanin. So the pineal gland can regenerate itself because it is the penis of the brain. You see what I'm saying? The penis of the brain. So, the key here is the perm thing makes this thing dormant. That's why you got to get the perms out your head, because you must understand. If the pineal gland and the pituitary gland is responsible for this motherfucking many glands in the body, as you see, and basically that's our whole reproductive system and everything else. The general spiritual system as well as the glandular system, that means that they can shut down the stuff whereas it becomes dormant. Now, this is the key. It's not a permanent thing what happens with the perms. It's a simple fact. For the mere fact that you can have a perm in your head and then about a week or two later you can see some nappy shit, means it has regenerated itself that fast. And that lets you know it's the strongest shit in the world. Something you can fry. And then boom, it's busting back through the scalp. There you go again, the same old steel wool. So the key is it's not a matter of I'm damaged, it's a matter of don't keep it dormant. Right. The next time the pee shit come on, keep it nappy. That's all you have to do, because it's already regenerated. The mere fact that the hair is growing back nappy is an indication that it's inwardly regenerating itself, or inwardly regenerating itself. You see what I'm saying? Also too, So just going along with the hard copy. So that's one thing that you must do at this particular time, especially at this particular time of the great final days of the quickening. You see what I'm saying? The great final days of the actual quickening. So now, as a result, Robert Temple has out a new book, which did the Great Sirius Mystery. They just re-released the new Sirius Mystery with 140-something new pages, additional pages, which also in there is he's talking about something that's called the Anubis cell, which is nothing but melanin, or nothing but the actual soul of the black man. But he also has some new stuff, some new finds with Akhenaten, as well as some stuff on Sirius coming from Asia and China, and different things like that. So, but the particular book is worth getting. Also, it has Akhenaten's face on the cover, so that's how you know that it's the newer book, other than the other one with an Anpu's face, Anubis face on the cover. But also, too, on the back of the book, it also said that he had several intelligence agencies since 1976 that gave him unholy hell. You see what I'm saying? And so basically, he's been the target of all different types of governments around the country that either was trying to suppress his work or either trying to keep his ass locked down or whatever, keeping an eye on him. That's also mentioned in the actual the book, the book also too. So now, I'm going to get into a couple other things right now on the hard copy thing right now. Number one, it's over because all of the shit that I was saying about the killing the people, and I also know that all you all know this, about the killing the people and the taking the melanin. I've been talking about that for months. But it's always good to document some stuff. To say, I told you so, not for you people in here, but for the TV land or la-la land, and say that nigga's crazy. Now, you know it's all over for your ass. Now, you know your Peter Moon book. Peter Moon, the last book, The Black Sun, he so kindly told you, based on occultism, which is a melanin, he kindly told you that it is the hottest shit on the black market. But he didn't tell you how hot it was, but this particular document I hold in my hand saying it's over for a nigga's ass. Because it might be coming for you next. You see, for the people in La La Land, not talking about the conscious people, but the people in doggone Nod Land as far as being still asleep. You must understand that you might wake up in some motherfucker meat sauce. You see what I'm saying? You know how niggas say you wake up dead. Well, that's some metaphysical shit. You literally can wake up dead because you never stop dying. You just wake up and your ass is dead. The physical body is dead. So people go, how can you wake up dead? See, that's because they don't understand. But black people used to say that shit, and we didn't realize that that was a metaphysical thing, and we were saying that based on our soul saying, your ass wake up dead. That means your physical body dead, and you walking around saying, what the hell happened? So you might wake up in somebody's meat sauce. With a whole bunch of crackers around the table ready to eat your ass, or whatever the deal is. Saying, bring it on, mama, and shit, you know. And they got the bread right beside your head and shit. Bread and butter right beside your head and all. You might wake up in somebody's motherfucking table and shit like that and all. And it's interesting because I went to Milwaukee, and see, there's a lot of other shit went down that they tell about the Jeffrey Dahmer shit. And when I went to Milwaukee, which he was from Milwaukee, and the brother that's up there has his own Access TV show, and this brother be dropping as far as he's really into the insanity of black people seen on the mundane realm. But he even said, based on half the country didn't get, when they broke in that cracker house, that cracker had serious experiments going on, and it was all a part of a worldwide network, and because he got caught, the reason why they had to off his ass in prison is because they didn't want him to later on give up no secrets. So this was a whole ring of shit that's culminating into the stuff I'm talking about now to get ready to deal with in a few minutes. That's just that the Jeffrey Dahmer motherfucker broke protocol and got caught. You see what I'm saying? He probably got a little too freaky and then went out there on his, went out there freelancing. You know what I'm saying? And got his ass caught. Fucking little Asian boys and all, and little black men. Out there freelancing and didn't do it in a systematic formal thing and got his ass caught. And they first sent him to jail and they killed his ass. You see? But they said it was a whole elaborate system set up in this cracker house when he got caught, that you know that it was not a part of somebody randomly out here crazy. We know the history of this thing. Now, so he got caught. Anyway, the key is, this particular thing, as we know, has been the subject of our demise for damn near since slavery, or for the last couple of 100 years. As far as they eating us, or they doing all types of stuff. Now, I hold in my hand a document from the internet to let you know. It's called Melanin Plus. They ain't saying the melatonin shit. These crackers is straight out coming out with it. They ain't got real gold here. These motherfuckers ain't saying no melatonin. They say Melanin Plus. And as you can see, I want to put it on the camera, because as you know, anybody know anything about business, when you go in the business and you get your shit patent, they put that motherfucking R right there, which means what? Registered. So there's no bullshit now. Hold on now, because we got a nigga by their balls tonight. It's good, not for you because you've been hearing this shit, but it's good to have document for the people out there who thought this shit was crazy. And all this stuff I've been saying the whole time is good when I get a piece of document to back this shit up. That's the way the spirit works. In my hand it says Melanin Plus, and it has an R, which means registered, which means it's patented. Now, I also told you about the human genome patenting 2 years ago. So the human genome, they ain't even saying, they said it's taking the genes from indigenous people and they was patenting them. Well, I'm going to read something here. I'm going to read something here on the line. Now, I think I got the human genome that says that these scientists in all the major universities, one in every neighborhood, one where all the niggas go to the hospital, there's some university behind that shit. See, it's Temple or wherever. But anyway, they talk about these universities patenting genetic genes of indigenous people. Well, if everybody's everybody, number one, why does indigenous people have genes that's different than anybody else? But then again, you know that the big M word is coming up, melanin. That's the key. Now, we know this. We talked about this before. So, it said that they are patenting indigenous people's genes from around the world. Well, the next line on this says, and I quote, Melanin Plus, the melanin-based cosmetics, but it says, we have patented the world's first cosmetic product to incorporate melanin and the body's natural defense system against the sun's ultraviolet rays. They didn't say melatonin, they said melanin. The only way you can get that, that's the whole package, melatonin, serotonin, what have you. The whole endorphins, everything, straight up melanin. You understand? Now they're saying, that when they, see, you got to understand the psychological ramifications about this for the seriousness. Whenever you become a motherfucking product, it's like Campbell, Coca-Cola, you understand what I'm saying? Honey baked ham, butterball turkey, now fucking damn niggas, black people. Patenting, this is some serious shit. You see? This is some serious shit. You see that R there? Anybody know what I'm talking about? This is Solid Green, the movie. This is reality.
Yes, check.
Okay? This is reality. The key here is this. Right before I got this, right before Christmas, right after Christmas, a brother named Winston used to be in a C3 meditation class with me. Saw the brother. We talked. You know, I saw him in about a year. We talked. He said, I got a cousin, you know, in her late 20s died this Christmas. She was sick for a long time, you know, and just died. Anyway, she donated her body to science. So when the morgue came, the morgue wanted, you know, check out all the things that, you know, to get it clear with the husband. They would happen to be over to the house when the morgue called, so they couldn't take the body right away because, you know, they had to get all this stuff right. So the morgue said, oh, by the way, are you interested in selling her skin? So immediately the husband got offended and, you know, said, hell no, or whatever, and ended the shit. I was like, damn, should have played along. We need to find out how much they was buying this shit for. To let them know how much a damn, how much a Cadillac going for, how much a nigga going for. So anyway, basically what they do is they probably take all the skin off the body, except probably the hands and one part of the head. But you know, they go in and take all the glands. They're doing that shit anyway. That's what the whole thing with the whole funeral home shit was about. They come up in there and they do it any damn way. You see a motherfucker up in the casket dead, most people don't even want to touch dead people. Now you ain't going to be like, let me see her breasts. Open that shirt up, let me see how she look on the inside. The only thing you looking and saying, does that motherfucker look natural, just like she's sleeping? Oh, she look natural in the shit.
They full of paper.
You see, so the only thing you worry about is whether they make a motherfucker look pretty. So the whole body is stripped.
Yep.
Organs and all. But my point is, they asked them over the phone, would you want to buy the skin? You see what I'm saying? Because that's the key right now, the hottest shit on the market. You see, being witness to this stuff, but stuff always, the Spirit always gives you stuff to go along with it, and that's the beautiful part about this. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, this is showing you now what we got here is that the entire welfare program, from its inception to they ended it in 1995, where they started the downfall or whatever you want to call it, was a breeding form for this futuristic melanin. That was the America's reserve melanin for futuristic endeavors of apocalyptic age when they would need this shit. And that's what the masses of the poor people were. Just like in the Dark Sun, they say that you are nothing but some rich elites. You're cattle for some rich and elite. So this is the Melanin Plus products is HTP, you know, do a www.fcgmelanin.com, you know, slash gas GASKNHIS dot HTM. So it's fcgmelanin.com, then GASKNHIS HTM. So that's the thing, but we'll leave this. But now this is just the front introduction of this particular website. This was only 4 pages, and I just downloaded the actual face. You know, this is like the actual website. But this thing has an entire, probably, I mean, it was a whole huge documents on this thing that you can tap into. So we're talking about a worldwide market and sale of this particular stuff, you see. And so this is very key on how this particular stuff is going on. Now, let me show you something else that's going down right now. As you notice, that in the black community right now, and I often wanted to know what was behind it, and I knew something was coming to tell me what was behind this particular thing that is going down with McDonald's and Burger King, with this black music behind all their fucking damn. You see these commercials with all the black music? Eyes above and everybody. Well, what it is this. First of all, in this country, most white adults have abandoned the fast foods like Burger King, McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? And basically your actual burger joints. Still white teenagers frequent these places because that's a low meal for them, low cost meal. So they have basically all group ages, teenagers are still eating it. But just about the majority of overwhelming amount of the population of white adults have fallen off from eating McDonald's, Burger King's, Hardee's, or whatever. You see, whatever the deal is, these fast food things, Dairy Queen, or whatever the deal is. So as a result, they know that there's only one other people that's equivalent to, their minds are the same as a teenager. Basically, a black adult is still a grown-up child at large based on black psychology, because they study our shit. They know that we are permanent children based on the Willie Lynch formula and all this type of shit. So as a result, they understand that black people are billions of dollars consumer plus. And they understand that, that some of their most loyal grown-up children at large will be the black upward mobile or black adults. But that's why the majority of the music is not even the music of the teenagers. They're not playing the rap. They're not playing the music that the teenagers, they're playing the music of a class group that still got the earning power that grew up in the 70s. You see what I'm saying? Or were adults in the 70s. Either you were an adult in the 70s or you were a child in the 70s that's now a young adult, at least in your 30s. So these are the people that have a whole lot of money that they want to target, including, and this is from the hee-haw to the bourgeois. So this is all class system.